Hey, fellow rockers and lead players and bluesy players and whatever. We tend to learn as guitarists the pentatonic scale first, the minor. There's a downside to that though. It doesn't teach you how to think over chord progressions. You end up learning to just waffle and do riffs that sort of work. And the faster you play, the better, because you're never on the wrong note for too long. When you're playing blues, let's just say the 1-4-5 like I did with Jumping at Shadows, other than the other chords that come into it. If I play waffly, you can't hear what chord I'm playing over, even though that all works. I'll give you an example. If I'm A, now I'll be very simple. Pentatonic minor only, over the A major chord, it sort of works. Sort of works. But what if I was to be a bit more... Knowing the notes that fit in the actual chords that are being played gives you the option to not only play the right ones, but also to know when to play the wrong ones to bring in the right ones. For instance, if I'm an A major very strongly, knowing how to bring the minor third and the major third. And also learning how to do complex chords later on, which I'm not going to go into right now, but when you know what is right, you can also then know how to manipulate things and play them wrong and right, the fusion approach. So like you can play the flat 9 type things and the flat 7s and then the chromatic ideas. Anyway, so if I was to play on my own with no backing, if I went like this, you wouldn't be able to tell what chord that is, although you loosely feel that it's the one. And then, but that works over the 4 chord as well. And that sort of does over the 5, but it's not clear. So if I was to go, then if I went, you'd then hear a lot more clearly what I'm playing over. A little simpler, if I was to go, again, phrasing's part of it, but you can hear there that I'm very specifically playing happy major dominant 7 type sounding chords. So again, you can hear there very strong note choices. Now when there's a backing band, I'm waffling, you can do whatever. It still sounds good, but on your own, it doesn't, because there's no definition, there's no signature to what you're playing. So learn the major thirds and the minor thirds, and over the D, and over the E. The problem with the pentatonic scale, which we all learn first, is it gets us stuck in one shape. But you can still find everything you want in one shape. Now I had to think about that, because I would normally go, anyway, I suggest really think about the notes in the chord that you're playing over. Now a lot of guitarists learn from tabs and learn from sort of quick licks, and they don't learn to think about the actual chord they're playing over. They just go, oh, this song's in A, so they play almost everything in A minor pentatonic. But when you're outlining chords, what about when that song Jumping at Shadows goes to the B? So like you're going, knowing what to play over it, I mean, it takes time, but instead of just waffling, you can actually really construct stuff that sounds good on your own, not just with a backing band. So if I was to go from the A to the B, so I know where the notes are. And again, it's as simple as learning 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, and also knowing where the flat sevens are. And you learn them in other places as well. And that's why when I did that chord thing there, so if I went there, I could go here. Think about this. Knowing the neck, knowing it alphabetically, knowing it numerically, it really helps. Now again, I started with the chords there, so that's kind of giving you already the idea of what I'm playing. But if I just started, say, let's say in another key, let's say I'll just go to G. Let's say I went like... Now again, totally unplanned, but you can hear there quite clearly the 1, 4, 5, but you can hear in G that I was still highlighting very strongly the dominant 7 chords. I wasn't just pentatonic waffling. Again, pentatonic waffling would work, but it's just not as strong. So, with no backing, I could play, let's say in G, I could just go... That's great, but if I went... You can hear a little clearer there by deliberate note choice that I'm playing the chords more than just waffling and riffing. A lot of guitarists are guilty of just riffing, which is, you know, it has its place, but know the notes. Really cool when you actually think about what you're doing. And it just comes back to learning those 1, 3, 5s and flat and 7s, knowing your basic scale theory. If you're in G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G major. In minor it's 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, root. And if you can learn to blend those two scales together at the appropriate time, knowing what chord you're playing over, you can minor major blend things really quite well. So if I'm G blues, I can't get away with minor sounds. I go to C. D. It's all about thinking, not just riffing. So riff as much as you want, but occasionally chuck in a money note. So if I was just to riff for a while, the first time was purely minor pentatonic riffy stuff. The second time I threw in a little bit of that major thirds, flat 7s, you know, the dominant 7 type of sound. It gives you so much more control. And again, when I'm thinking and being a little more deliberate, you can hear the chords even though there's no one backing me. I really suggest that you guitarists who aren't doing this, learn your 1, 3, 5 and your flat 7. And you add that occasionally into just your normal waffly, riffy, bluesy playing, and you'll be surprised how much more accurate you sound. I remember seeing the guitar Rebel Yell I think it was 1990 or 92, something like that. I can't remember who the winner was, but I remember he did this blues in E. And at the time, I was quite early in my playing, and I would have just like... I would have turned everything into minor. He came out and went... And I couldn't believe the sound. I was like, it's still blues, but he's sounding so like happy and strong. And again, it's all about note choice, learning how to blend the major and the minor. So many options, but in the basic, have a good think about that.